So, I saw an interesting meme. It's basically a picture of old Donald Glover back when he was like probably looked like he was probably in high school, and he looked kind of he looked mad corny. And the next two pictures are like him when he gained his success, and a picture of him and I guess his wife, and she happens to be white. And the caption reads, well, of course you can see it, but it says something like black women dogged him and talked about him, called him nerdy and lame and stuff like this. And then when he got his success, they was mad because they see that he was with a white woman. And I was reading the comments, and people was divided on this. You got some people in there talking about he may have talked about black women before in his stand-up, and they said he made a joke about the best sex he ever had came from when a white woman called him the N-word during it.
When I was having sex with her, and we were towards the end, and she goes, "Fuck me harder with that N-word dick." And I stop, look at her right in the eye, and I came harder than I've ever come before. It was so awesome, you guys. It was so great. Like, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was almost worth being black my entire life. It was so great. It was so great, I actually felt bad for white dudes. I felt bad. I was like, you guys will never have that. You'll never have that. What do you guys have, cracker dick? That's not sexy at all. That sounds like a virus you pick up on a cruise ship. Like, yeah, you've got cracker dick. Yeah, just hold it together, I don't know.
Which, for me, I take that as stand-up. Like, you know, one girl in the thing, like, oh, so it's cool just because it was stand-up. I'm like, man, I mean, stand-up comedians, to be honest, we gotta hold them to a different standard. Like, if they just being assholes, then that's one thing. But, like, he was clearly making a joke. The joke, if I remember correctly, it went over kind of okay. But I'm like, you know, I ain't saying he get a pass for making those comments, but, like, it's like the Eddie Murphy back in the day saying the F word, dropping, you know, a whole bunch of F words and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, you gotta pick and choose what you hold comedians to. So I decided to give my take on the whole situation, or how I feel about it. So this is gonna come from the perspective of a black man. I'm 30 years old now, and a little bit of my backstory is that when I was in elementary school, those girls didn't want any parts of me. Well, they said it was because I was too black. They said I was too black. They was calling me Blackie and charcoal, like saying all kinds of shit. So needless to say, I didn't really have a girlfriend at all in elementary school. Matter of fact, I had a girlfriend one time, but it was like the class that they was playing like a joke on me. They kept begging this girl to say that she wanted to be my girlfriend. I'm sitting in class writing down my vocabulary words and shit because I was the smartest one in the class. Go figure, the one that's getting talked about the most. And all of a sudden somebody come up to me and they say, hey, such and such said she want to be your girlfriend. And I said, huh? And they said, we for real, look. So I looked over there and I was like, you said that? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, bro. I almost bust out crying, bro. I was so happy. But she broke up with me like a couple hours later on the way to lunch, because that was like the shortest relationship I ever been in. She broke up with me because they just kept fucking with her about it. That's what she said. But I'm saying that to say that my story was that I can see how people say that black women, you know, dogged him out when he was younger. I can totally see that. Now, I was in a predominantly black school, so I can't speak for white women or white girls, I should say, dogging me out, because I wasn't around that. I was around the black girls, and they all dogged me out. But for me, it was like high school when I started really like being able to get girls and stuff like that. And based on that picture, if that's Donald Glover in high school, I could see, like, if he didn't get any attention from girls, I could clearly see why. I'm not here to judge black women based on the actions of little black girls from when I was younger, but you got to realize a lot of that plays into a part of how somebody like sees the opposite sex as they grow up. If all I see is black women calling me ugly, like girls that are supposed to like that are girls that are, you know, not my complexion but like just a little bit lighter than me, saying that they don't want to be with me because I'm too dark, it's just like, what? Then when you start to get around other races and you start hearing shit in the media or start hearing shit from people like your homeboys and stuff, because this is shit that we really heard as kids, that white girls like black dudes and stuff like that, or white girls this, white girls that. So of course I can see how somebody can venture off. This might be completely irrelevant because we was children at the time, but when I was younger, probably, I would say when I first moved into my new neighborhood, I was probably in like the third or fourth grade, maybe a little closer to second grade, and like, you know, they always found something to say about me. And the first girl that I remember showed me a little bit of, this girl actually liked me, and she was a white girl. She and her grandmother stayed like a couple doors down. She invited me over for like peppermints and cookies and shit and sweet tea, and she said flat out, "Anthony, I like you." And I was just like, I didn't know how to take that. Now imagine if I would have just kept that thought in my head as I got older. I'm going to this black, which she didn't go to my school. She was from like another area. She was just over visiting her grandma, and we were both kids, probably like 7 or 8 years old. Now imagine I grow up and I'm remembering that in the back of my head. This is the first girl that ever, like, she didn't talk shit to me. She actually liked me, you know, sharing food with me and shit. Then this happens on a fucking Saturday, and I go to school Sunday and I'm being dogged by like the black girls that go to school with me. Imagine how that can affect a child. Now, I think it affects a teenager a little bit more, honestly, because they're going through puberty and all this shit, and you know, they're dealing with a whole bunch of emotions in their head. As a kid, I couldn't, you know, I didn't fucking know. But let's imagine that shit had affected me, and I just decided, okay, it's a clear difference here. The one white girl that I knew, she treated me like a king at that age, and when I go to school, all the black girls tell me I'm too black for them. Or, you know, and I was a smart kid, so I got talked about for that. Shit, my mom couldn't afford like the best clothes and shit, so my parents were like flooded. I would get talked about that. They just said I was ugly. I got, you know, anything you can imagine, bro. They threw that shit at me, bro. I'm talking about wind that motherfucker up and just, phew, I got hit with that motherfucker. But yeah, nah, I can see how some people might not be, you know, mentally stable enough to where they can get through something like that without saying fuck that, I'm just dating white girls from now on. I can see how that can happen. So maybe that's what happened in his case. I don't fucking know. But we can't act like, you know, shit's not there, shit doesn't happen. But here's my whole thing with that argument, right? What black girls or black women are y'all talking about when y'all say shit like this? When y'all say, oh, well, black women talked about him and called him lame and stuff. Like, where are these women at that y'all... Because I know plenty of women that'll be happy with a nerd. Now, are they gonna... Here's the thing. Here's the catch. They're not these Instagram model chicks who you think in your head when you think about black women nowadays. You think about the Instagram chicks with the bikinis on and shit like that, with the little baby... All of them got that little same little baby hair swoop right there on the top of their head and shit. With the long, you know... whatever. That's what you're probably thinking about. But you can't just say that that's black women. Yeah, those black women, they're probably gonna date athletes and people with money and shit like that, or people with a higher status. But like, I know plenty of black women that would be happy with a nerdy guy. Like, they actually prefer the nerdy guys. It's like, why aren't those women being spoken for? Like, I know there's plenty of them out there. Like, can we talk about, like, if you're gonna say black women talked about him, I don't really think that that's the case, because maybe when he was younger, yeah, but black women, like a lot of black women nowadays, would date a guy like that, you know? And I've seen women, not just black women, but oh my God, they date. Women usually date, they date down as far as like looks and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really my only problem with saying stuff like that. Is like, what black women are y'all thinking that don't really care about like the nerdy guys, you know, shit like that? Because they're out there. He just happen to not be able to find one. That's really it. Like, nothing more, nothing less. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. So, whoa, this truck's about to hit somebody. She whipped it though. The guys that's gonna make money, like I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna act like, you know, it doesn't happen or it can't happen. So, what am I even saying?